All right, so DZ versus Wildcard just ended about 20 minutes ago, which was the last match of the day. So, first, just a quick recap of today's games, and then we're going to do quick predictions for tomorrow's semifinals. So, we'll just go in order of the matches today. So, we'll start with the Enterprise and Twisted Minds. It ended up going three maps. Enterprise looked they looked really ready for that first map. They had a really good game plan coming into their own map, but the last two maps they just could not seem to handle Twisted Mind's playstyle at all, which I kind of figured out how the series would go. Um, Honestly, I thought it'd be maybe a 2-0. I didn't think Enterprise would be able to handle the Twisted Minds playstyle at all, but they were able to deal with it for a map. Um, but the other two, yeah, no, it was pretty brutal. So we did get the Twisted Minds prediction correct. Next, G2 versus Shopify. The only prediction today that I got wrong. And I mean, I guess Shopify just owned G2 no matter the iteration of G2. It seems, especially Ambi. I mean, that was the most insane single map performance maybe ever. I don't know. I've seen a couple insane single map performances, but that was certainly one of the best ones ever. I mean, in 9 rounds, he drops 21 kills and dies a single time in a 7-2 win. That means he averaged over 2 kills a round on G2, not just some like shitter team that he can farm. He went 21-1 on G2, and then second map, which was actually Shopify's map. Keep in mind, went 21-1 on G2's map pick. Um, it was much closer, but you could still tell that Shopify was still like in control of the game, and that the G2 mental just wasn't really there, especially when the timeouts came for G2, and you could tell they sounded very stressed, and they they weren't like the normal timeouts where they're talking about strats and stuff. It was very like oh, you're forgetting the fundamentals. We're not even doing the basics correctly, right? And it was just very stress and panic, and I could tell from literally that point that the series was already over. Um, I was like, all right, well, I guess Shopify win this one, and yeah, I think it's probably time that I just don't take G2 to win when they make the stage until they prove they can win on stage, because the past few times they just haven't been able to do so pretty much at all. So they've been pretty disappointing when they get to that live stage. Predicting them to win in groups is easy when there's no pressure, when there's no audience. I just don't get it. I just don't get like the mental block that this team has on stage, whether it's the previous version or now. I can't even explain what happened today. They just looked so like Bank was pathetic, like straight up. That was abysmal. And yeah, Cafe, while it was a little better, you know, you could have afforded that Cafe loss if you won your own map, but you're not going to win your own map if they're playing it like that. And again, too, this is another like series as well for G2, like where they got to get to main stage, where I felt like they lost the map ban phase, like, and blatantly too. Like I just don't know why they pick Bank. Uh, they keep picking Bank in important games. Like they haven't been a good Bank team, um, ever since they got their ass kicked by Secret on it, um, at EWC last year. So I don't know why they keep playing it. Maybe they have some confidence on it still that you know the people on the outside don't know about. But I swear, every time I watch them play Bank in like a high stakes competition against other top teams, they lose. They lose Bank, and it just doesn't feel like the right choice for them. So yeah. And next we had FaZe and Falcons. Falcons did get 2-0 here. It's probably the easiest prediction of the day, to be honest. Just FaZe just look too elite still. Their form just looks immaculate. And yeah, the one good thing I can say about Falcons is like, they gave them a pretty good fight even though it was 2-0, and they never really looked, mentally down or anything in the game even when they were losing, which was nice to see from them. Because definitely before you could tell they um, were looking like pretty depressing before when they started losing, and it never looked good. But yeah, FaZe still end up with the win there, and then DZ versus Wildcard. I mean, this series honestly deserved a map 3, bro. If Wildcard was up 6-3 on map 2, the border game, and they let it slip into OT, and then bro, Kansan. I'm a big Kansan Glazer. I'm a big fan of of him, but he had some rough moments today. I'm not gonna lie. He lost a 1v1 because he forgot his own team strat. He forgot there was a castle barricade on the workshop door, um, leading into workshop, in a 1v1, and let Newers plant and kill him in the 1v1. And then in the very last round of the game on 7-7 overtime, he C4'd hot and cold instead of holding on to his C4 and waiting for DZ to attempt to plant in the 2v3 and trying to even up the numbers there. So yeah, I don't really know. That last round was definitely brutal, but especially because the C4 was on to hot and cold as well. The stand-in, um, who was standing in, trying to prove all the doubters wrong, and I think he proved all the doubters wrong. I mean, I was never doubting hot and cold, but I think he proved the doubters that he did have wrong, and proved that he definitely still is well deserving of a place on a top team in North America. So yeah. But yeah, anyways, Wildcard kind of choked away map 2, and we ended up seeing DZ win the series. So at the end of the day, I was happy DZ won the series because I didn't predict them to win, but I also wanted to see map 3 just because I wanted to see more Siege. And it was honestly kind of unfortunate. Only one of these series went 3 maps. So yeah. Now for tomorrow's games, we have Shopify versus Twisted Minds. If Shopify play like they did today, I mean, they could win the whole thing. But I also think like Twisted Minds can also definitely win the whole thing. I think Twisted Minds play the meta the best, um, and I think FaZe are just the best overall. Still, um, they're the most consistent. Um, and then for Shopify, like I said today, I think they proved that you know they can win against big teams on stage finally, and they can win decisively as well. Now, I don't think Twisted Minds are going to be as mental chalked as G2 started their match yesterday. That's the one thing I don't get this about G2. How can you start the match mental chalked? How can you just go in and you're already mentally not there? You could just tell there's something was wrong when you looked at them. And I don't get it. So, yeah, I think for the Shopify Twisted Mind games, or Twisted Minds game, not Twisted Mind games. That I think is definitely going to be close, and this is definitely going to be a more personal vote. I don't think you're really going to go wrong with either of these teams here, but personally, I just really want to see Shopify make the final here now, especially after their performance yesterday. But I think there is you know really good reasons for taking Twisted Minds too, especially because of the way they're playing right now. I mean, the way both these these teams have been playing has been really good. But I do think Twisted Minds like have a insane grasp on the meta, like especially because guards with the shield play. I don't know. He just seems unstoppable on the shields of this tournament. He seems like the best shield player right now. And if you ban the shields, Twisted Minds have like all the intel ops. They got the Dokkaebi, the Deimos, the Snake, and they're just gonna abuse the fuck out of those, and they're really good at abusing those. And if you ban the intel ops, then they're gonna spam the shields, and you can't even ban all the intel ops all at once. So they're still gonna have one of them, even if you ban like Dokkaebi Deimos or something like that, right? Or and same with the shields. There's three shield ops. If you ban two, you're still gonna have to deal with one of them for at least 3 rounds. So it's just they're so hard to play against because of that. And then on defense too, like they're so like this aggressive, ratty play style that you see from them. It just works so well, and then they play off each other really well too. Sometimes when they need the help, they'll come help each other. If one of them's stuck, and I mean they've been hitting their shots this tournament too. Some of like the Twisted Minds players, they've been hitting some crazy shots. Um, but yeah, personally, I just want to see Shopify take it. And then for DUZ versus FaZe, I mean, I definitely think it's going to be a hard fought battle for FaZe, but I still just don't really see FaZe falling off still. Um, like I feel like DZ and Falcons are pretty equal teams right now in terms of level, and I think FaZe is above Falcons, and I also think FaZe is above DZ right now, and it's just too well of an oiled machine. I think at this point, I think DZ maybe needs some more time, but I mean DZ also they have great players. There's no doubt there, but it's just like it's FaZe, bro. They're kind of like Thanos at this point for Siege. You can't really pick against FaZe until they're not in the tournament. Basically, they're one of those teams. At now where it's if you're betting against FaZe, you're kind of trolling because of how good and consistent they are. So this is what I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go FaZe Shopify. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Oh well. Again, I always encourage make your own predictions. Especially like I said, I think this one is really hard. Like I definitely think you could easily go Twisted Minds, make an easy argument for Twisted Minds here, instead of Shopify. Like I said, Shopify was more of a personal pick, anyways. Um, but yeah, so that's all, and I'll be back tomorrow for one more quick recap, and then talk about the grand final. And yeah, again, thanks for watching, and have a good one.